Hey, welcome back. It's Woman Wednesday on Liquid Lunch. You're watching Liquid Lunch on Newsmax TV, of course. And we're at the Newsmax headquarters in Midtown Manhattan, downtown at the New York Stock Exchange. The pillage of the markets continues, down 600. Let the dust settle, and then we'll talk about it tomorrow. Don't do anything irrational. And I need a lot of psychological help, like a really lot, in many facets of my life. And we're talking about this Epstein stuff. I don't believe that he's even dead. And joining us again is Dr. Judy Kuriansky. She is a psychologist, she's an author, she's a pundit. Doc, you were here the other day, but now this breaking news with Epstein, I see them wheeling him into a hospital when he's supposedly dead for 2 hours. They don't bring dead guys to hospitals. They bring them to the morgue. I don't even think he's dead. What do you think?
Well, I think it's there's conspiracy theories that are rampant because the public is not being told the truth. And that is very upsetting. Normally, when somebody very celebrity dies, you have bin Laden, we see the body, we know it's dead. So when there is mystery, people will make up stories. I'm very distressed from a psychological point of view as a psychologist that what was the role of the mental health person here? It is inconceivable to allow someone like that to be off suicide watch, but not be watching him constantly.
What is it?
Not even just 15 minutes, because the dangers are there. So some psychologist supposedly was part of this idea to take him off suicide watch. That is unprofessional. That person needs to be exposed, and we haven't heard about it. We've heard about the prison guards. And the best indicator, prognosis of whether someone will commit suicide attempt again or do it is a past attempt. So you never put that person out for themselves.
So let me ask you this. I want to draw a little parallel here, because I was talking to a friend of the show, Manny Alejandro, who's an attorney here in New York, and he's been following this closely also. And he says for him to get off suicide watch, his attorney had to petition either the warden or the Bureau of Prisons and say, please take this guy off suicide watch. And Manny tells me that he's questioning, attorneys have underprivileged. If you say I'm guilty, I killed someone, they can't tell anyone. But if you say I'm thinking about killing someone, they have a duty to go stop this from happening. So if an attorney knows this guy just tried to kill himself, and now he makes a case to let him off suicide watch, is he complicit like the psychologist?
I would be very worried about the complicity of many people, including the famous people who were going to get into deep trouble and may still get into trouble.
Who do you think they may be? Give us a few names.
Well, I don't know about names, but I think they are very high people in high places. We've already seen the pictures of one of the princes. So when that is exposed, and we've heard the names of a former president. So those names are being circulated around. That's very, very scary.
Dr.
So
Judy,
I think, besides that, lawyers, I was married to a prosecutor, so I know this. They often consult with psychologists when they have cases of this nature. And so anybody in my field who's involved in this, who aided and abetted letting that happen, is just, it's out of control.
Dr. Judy, I think a lot of viewers might be curious about the psyche of someone that chooses to take their own life, but when you consider it's someone that probably was never going to be outside of jail, and they're used to living this multi-million-dollar lavish lifestyle, maybe it becomes a bit more understandable. But I think something that's so incomprehensible to most people watching this is the kind of person that would choose to sexually prey upon young girls. What goes on in someone's head that this is how they get off on victimizing 14, 15, 16-year-old women? Girls.
Well, it comes from the ultimate of power. We know about a lot of men who are in power who need to still exert power, but there's nothing like exerting power over someone who is helpless. You have older women who could say no, who could say you're disgusting, who don't want to do sex acts that a young girl would give into because she's overwhelmed and because she's so impressed and because she doesn't know any better. So it's a massive way of control. And also, you know, the bodies to them are exciting, the naivete. Considering that there were young girls, this is another thing that truly bothers me. The report that some of the young girls recruited their friends to come along and have fun. Now we know about Ghislaine Maxwell and the older people who were involved, who were enablers and who pimped, you know, for him. But the young girls who did this for their friends, I'm concerned about. Now, I don't want to get into blaming the victim, so that's not what it's about. But I'm saying from a psychologist's point of view that has not been said before, that those girls need serious mental health help, because they have been complicit in this, thinking, oh, this is great fun, we're gonna make a lot of money, we're gonna maybe get a job out of it, we're gonna get to see a prince and a professor and a president and all these people, and we're gonna have a grand old time going to an island and just wearing our skimpy bikinis and out in the sun. And those girls are gonna live with a lot of guilt and a lot of fear and serious psychological problems in their later love life, relationships, and certainly in their sex life.
Wow. So this goes all the way down to their current sex from 10 and 15 years ago. They're still affected in their own sex life.
Oh, totally. I mean, I know, having heard these stories on the radio for 20 years, I was on the radio, that 20 years later, women would have called me up and said, I remember what happened to me then, and I can't have sex, and I can't perform, I can't even have a decent relationship. So these girls who helped the other girls and thought they were all having a jolly old time really need to see psychologists and get mental health work.
If you're in the anywhere mentioned in the Epstein saga, reach out today to Dr. Judy Kuriansky. She wants to give you some help. I may have to get on your couch one of these days because I need some help. Not in this area, but I need a lot of help. But you're wonderful for joining us, giving your insights to our viewers and our audience. And yes, this is a real clinical psychologist, author, commentator, and wonderful person. Thanks for giving us your time today, Dr. J. You stay right there. We're coming up right after this with Joel Griffith from the Roe Institute at the Heritage Foundation.